Hey guys, it's Ben the Coin Geek at Old Pueblo Coin, and it's time for one of my favorite things, Q&A, or as I would say to my friends up north, Q&A, eh? All right, let's get on with it then. Happy says, amongst other things, talking about the gray sheet, it'd be nice if the CDN Publishing offered it in a bi-monthly or quarterly basis. I currently subscribe on a monthly basis, but that's overkill for me. Getting a copy every 2 months or quarterly would be perfect for my needs. This is a great point and something that if you guys do want to get the gray sheet and you want them to go back to that format, I'd suggest just calling them and talking to them about it and see if either they'll do it for you or if they'll make it a part of their system. They used to do quarterly sheets. Like you could get some sheets monthly and other sheets quarterly. And by sheets, I mean they have the gray sheet, which is like a price guide for US coins, a blue sheet, which is like it's supposed to be a sight unseen bid and ask sheet for coins, US coins, green sheet, which is for paper money, US paper money. And you could actually get some of the sheets quarterly and others not. And so that was really nice. Now, if you want to actually get the paper copy of the gray sheet, it's a monthly subscription of about 35 bucks a month. That's their current pricing for that. You get the digital copies of the green sheet and the digital copies of the gray sheet, and then their consumer price guide, which is probably a little high. They're guides are imperfect. I mean, can we just say there's no set pricing for coins? I got to say that again and again because sometimes I don't even believe it. So, but you got to say it out loud enough times that people realize everything's a little negotiable. All coins are different. Most of the coins aren't commodities, right? So when you're dealing in modern coins, like graded silver eagles, that's a little bit more of a commodity where it's like you can really pinpoint pretty precisely because the coins should all look the same, right? Even then though, and we've had a lot of these coins where they were graded 70s and we're like, that's a spot. I can see it. That's not a 70. And yet we've had plenty of coins that are 69s that are just stunning. I'm like, there's no spot on this. What are these guys doing, right? So there can even be variation in modern coins that are 69s and 70s, but really, there's not a lot of variation in those. And so on to the next thing. CR says, I think for most people, the Sheldon is problematic enough. The Sheldon is the grading system we use today. That's like the 0 to 70 system, right? That we have. That's what people use, right? For some, I wonder why they get coins certified at all. I view having coins certified as sort of gambling rather than validation of dollar worth. That said, I prefer that grading services stick to the system that they use today. So the gambling aspect's like a real deal. In lots of ways, it's not really. It doesn't make a lot of sense unless you've got coins you've had a long time that you're just kind of attached to. There's not a lot of economic sense to buying a raw coin and getting it certified unless it's like of a certain value point, like if it's a really expensive coin. But a lot of really expensive coins have already been certified, but not all of them. So if you've got coins that you're hoping to go from $50 as you bought it raw, and you can spend 35 or 40 bucks, and you're just hoping it'll be $100 coin when you're done, it's really quite a gamble. And so a lot of people play in this area though, because a lot of people send in inexpensive coins and get them certified, and there's really is a gambling aspect to it. And the guys do get addicted to like I can't wait to get my grades back. How am I going to do? It's like scratching a lottery ticket. So if you have a coin gambling addiction, please call the hotline for help. All right. So Donald, what's your opinion on eye appeal? Wouldn't the strike affect eye appeal? It does for me. Should grading be subjective? Well, grading always is subjective. This is where I'm going to get a lot of flack from guys who don't believe that. But grading should always be subjective. Just like I don't want robots calling balls and strikes for the. I don't even watch baseball really, but I'm just saying. I mean, you could simply do that. It'd be the easiest thing for them with our technology to have an actual strike zone. But what fun would that be, right? You'd have nothing to complain about anymore. But you'd find something to complain about. Welcome to human nature. Eye appeal is very important. It is considered a part of grading, but once again, eye appeal is subjective. And by the way, I've had, after I did this video on strike about the strike of coins and grading coins with strike, how they played with one another. You know, a couple people commented on like the pie chart, and there's like I appeal, luster, contact marks, and strike, and uh, you know, it's really interesting because if you want AI to affect things, you can't use that pie chart because I appeal is 100% subjective. Like you cannot metric that, you know. So, anyways, some people really prefer, yes, strike affects eye appeal. I think for most people, a well-struck coin is going to look nicer than one that's not. And there's different, but if you're talking about like really poorly struck coins, then at that point, usually they don't look very good. But if there's coins where like 90% of them are struck the same way, and they're just a little flatter than a normal, the other mint mark, like so these mint mark Morgans that are really poorly struck compared to some of their Philadelphia counterparts. By the way, some of those poorly struck coins to me look nicer than some of the Philly coins where the luster sucks. Like I'll take a lustrous coin that's not well struck over a coin that's well struck and flat and dead. But this is the eye appeal effect, and this is also why coins in price guides are just guides. You can't just hammer it down because I'm going to look at a coin one way and you're going to look at it another way, and I'm going to be really satisfied with my flatly struck coin that's boom wonderlust. Can we get some help in here, please? That has just wonderful luster, over a coin that is well struck but is muted, right? Also, he says maybe your OPC sticker should be color coded to deal with the different qualities of a coin's grade, and be sure to use space-aged glue on your stickers so no one can get them off ever. You're going to have the best stickers. So one of the things that I've had a number of coin collectors who are actually colorblind, and I think about them whenever I hear talking about some of these things. And so what I'm proposing now is that the stickers actually be scratch and sniff. So if the coin it smells like poo if it's not a good grade. There you go. Problem solved. All right, here we go. J. Papagetto. The variety of material you show is astounding, and if you can't find an area to collect in what is presented here on the channel, then numismatics and currency collecting is probably not your thing. The Crusader coins are new to me, and I'm clueless about numismatic antiquities. Well, this is a fun point because, and I talk about this all the time, you can just see there's lots of books down here, and books and books and books, right? There is a huge array of things that you can collect in coins and currency, and I'm a big proponent of just saying there's not one right way to do it. There are things I advise against, there's things that I call the wrong way to do things, but there's not just one right way, so you can collect whatever you want to. I had a customer once who he collected every dated coin he could. So in other words, his coin collection started from like 1390 or something. The first coin he could get that actually had the date inscribed on it, and then after that, 1391, 92, 93, all the way through to current. So he just wanted 1 year of every coin, so it was just like for each year there's just one coin, right? But then he could mix and match as many different countries as he wanted to. So he had fun with that. All right, and let me see, Sam, with a lot of points here. Big thing. This also gets a little bit back to the comments on coin grading. He mentions the coin, the currently pie chart, 25% strike, 25% luster, 40% contact marks, 10% eye appeal / toning. So he says he'd like to see them downgrade dipped coins, but they reward them. I don't know that that's actually true. I will say that if a coin is properly restored, and that is something that I'm going to use the fancy political lingo, because that NGC and PCGS both clean coins when they restore them, right? But if it's done properly to take off the toning, which a lot of people consider to be damage, I'm going to point that out, even though I don't really call it damage myself, because this will play into something else that Sam says here. But if you properly restore a coin, especially if you're removing PVC or something of that nature, then you're actually helping the coin out. But for things that are just like a dipped coin, when I think of a dipped coin, I think of coins that are some guy just like dun 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 dun, and it's like bland, ugly. If you get a coin that's been dipped and has been not properly restored, no, they will downgrade it because the lack of luster and the lack of eye appeal just kills the coin, right? He says, let's see. You like to see the dipped coins downgraded. You yourself have previously stated that you dip coins when you feel appropriate. Appropriate meaning will be value added, I presume. So you're succumbing to the market demands, whereas I have always vouched for originality, even though I do not resell and I am a bit of a vest pocket dealer. Oh, I do resell and I'm a bit of a vest pocket dealer. I'm clearly in the minority camp. When it comes to the dipping and cleaning, professionally cleaning, whatever you want to call it, it's not, to me, a value add per se as much as it is will it help the coin out. And what I mean by that is typically if a coin has something on it that is problematic. So if it has, especially if it has some type of residue, if it has any type of PVC or any other junk on the surface, right? When it comes to toning, it can be a little bit difficult because I don't just take dipped coins and toned coins and dip them because it adds value. Of course, in this market, a lot of toned coins command a premium, but I actually have a lot of coins that I keep original, even though most guys would think they're ugly. There are, I don't know how you want to call it, almost like muted grays and browns on silver coins that I actually like the originality for, and I will keep them that way. So yeah, no, honestly, I don't really dip that many coins. I just don't, because it's not worth, like you said, if we're going to go to the added value kind of line of thinking, then okay. So if I have a coin that I think it'll help the coin out, at the end of the day, you can make the argument that it's a value add because the coin is damaged with PVC on it. So it's going to add value by removing that, right? But most coins aren't really worth messing with, right? So I just think that it's kind of an overstated thing. Now, having said that, I call it overstated because of what I do, right? But I've been on eBay, and by the way, I don't look at eBay a lot because I just look at what we do. I don't. But when I've looked at eBay for things, I really start to understand where the collector comes from, because when you make this comment, because I see a lot of crap. I see a lot of garbage on eBay. A lot of stuff that's been dipped out. The pictures are played with. In fact, I was looking the other day, and one of the guys there's a suggested post for me, and some coin dealer, and all of his pictures are played with, every last one of his, and he has some like handwriting cards behind his dollars. Not legit. None of that's legit. I was really, anyway. That's another video for another day, probably. But thank you for all your comments. That's really good points. All right, and finally, David says, the fact that CAC only stickers PCGS and NGC holders is pretty indicative that it is a gimmick. I have seen plenty of ICG and Annex graded coins that were spot on or even undergraded if a coin is properly graded. What difference does it make which holder it is in? So, the word gimmick's probably strong. I know what you're getting at, and I try to talk fairly about what you're saying here, David. It's not a gimmick in the fact that the marketplace doesn't think it's a gimmick, right? In other words, CAC stickered coins are selling for more in the marketplace. That's what the market is doing, right? And I can't really control that as much as it is to my chagrin. Now, if you think about it, the benefit to them if they started sticking ICG and Annex holders would be, of course, that they'd have more business. I don't know that they need more business because of what the market is doing right now, but they would have more business, right? You can send those coins in. I'm curious as to whether or not it would really validate those grading companies. In other words, if CAC is willing to put stickers on ICG holders, why are they not? Why are they? Is it because they are worried about validating? I think that if they started sticking, especially Annex holders, I think that would finally be the thing to get our Annex friends back in the running for having a competitive marketplace. it would be good for Annex. I don't know if it's good for CAC though, and you got to think about CAC is going to do what they think is best for their company, right? So it's really interesting to think about, because I'm not 100% sure how to approach it. If I was CAC, if I'm sitting there and I'm looking at coins, do I only want to validate PCGS and NGC coins? Or would I want to take the time to look at ICG and Annex coins too? And the thing is, especially with both those, I agree with your comment that I've seen really nicely graded coins in ICG and Annex holders. But I've gone through a lot of ICG holders in the last year because I had a dealer who was getting a lot of stuff graded by them. And it's tough because the market doesn't respect the stuff, right? And so it's kind of like, do you want to put your sticker on that? I don't know. It's a good, thank you for the comment. It's something I have to think more about. So, all right, guys, thanks so much for watching. Appreciate all the comments. As always, I'm Ben the Coin Geek. You can subscribe by clicking on the owl button and watch more videos on the right side of the screen. Thanks.